The newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. One health expert believes that the government should require updated vaccine records among kids as they start in-person classes. Infectious disease expert Dr. Ronchin Solante told One News that keeping track of children's vaccine records is important to determine how protected they are against COVID-19. Solante also noted that parents and teachers should constantly remind kids to follow other healthy, safe protocols since minors are not yet allowed to receive booster shots.
Gusto sana namin, maski hindi naman mandatory, but they should require updated vaccine record. No? We really have to protect these children. No?
Prices of school supplies have started to go up ahead of the reopening of classes on Monday. Brian Castillo has the report.
Last-minute shoppers flock to Divisoria to buy cheaper school supplies. Nanay April patiently wandered the market with her two children. However, she cannot help but notice the increase in prices.
Hindi kagaya po nung hindi pa nagpa-pandemic tsaka hindi pa nag-umpisa ang klase. Pero tayo nabibiling mga 50. Ngayon wala na mo mabibiling ganun. Ultimo yung mga papel, mga lapis ballpen. Lahat po nagmahal talaga. Siyempre pag nagbabudget lang, unti-untiin lang po natin.
Notebooks are now sold at almost 20 pesos each, 5 pesos higher compared to prices in 2019. The price of pad paper has also increased to 13 pesos, while intermediate pads are now sold at 20 pesos. From 6 pesos, pencils now cost 10 pesos each. Prices of crayons also increased by up to 6 pesos, depending on the quantity. Shop owners attribute the price hike in school supplies to the closure of factories that are affected by the increase in prices of paper.
Maraming hindi gumawa ng factory at saka out of stock talaga. Nahirapan kami kung saan namin kinukuha yung mga kalakal namin.
Vendors in Divisoria say they will still offer discounts, especially to shoppers who will buy in wholesale. But some parents are still having a hard time creating a budget.
Ano na, sa 2.5 lang dala ko eh. Kung ano lang makayang bilhin, yun lang. Mga lumang notebook nila na i-repair, wala na talaga, kaya bago ulit ngayon.
Sa lahat, bagong gamit?
Lahat, pati bag. Kasi ilang taon din naman nag-pandemic.
Nagtaas talaga siya, kaya lang wala tayong magagawa, kailangan eh. Pag mataas ang bilihin, mahirap ang budget.
Prices of bags range from 150 to 300 pesos depending on the design. While school uniforms are not required, many continue to buy them despite the 40 pesos price increase. Polo and blouse can be bought from 130 pesos to 250 pesos depending on the size, while prices of skirts range from 130 to 180 pesos. Vendors expect more people visiting Divisoria over the weekend to complete their list of must-have school supplies. For News 5, Brian Castillo, we are One News.
Registered births, marriages, and deaths went down in the first 4 months of 2022 compared to the same period last year. According to the Philippine Statistics Authority, over 250,000 births were recorded from January to April this year, almost 35% lower than last year. The PSA said Calabarzon logged the highest number of registered births, followed by NCR. Registered marriages in NCR also saw an 8% decline in the same period. Manila has the most number of marriages in NCR at 2,800. Registered deaths also dropped 34% to 157,000 this year from 240,000 last year. Calabarzon had the most number of recorded deaths at over 24,000. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. Film NBA player Jordan Clarkson has arrived in the country to prepare for Gilas Pilipinas' FIBA fourth window campaign. The Utah Jazz hooper touched down last night, giving him just over 5 days to practice with his Gilas teammates for 2 games scheduled next week. The national team started training earlier this week, the most recent of which was with Kai Soto, who arrived from Australia on Thursday. As West Africa suffered from a plastic waste crisis, several private corporations took it upon themselves to start a recycling initiative in Ghana. But will this truly help the country battle plastic waste problem? Let's find out in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Ghana is drowning in plastic. It's everywhere, on the beaches of its capital city, Accra, piled up in city streets, and even in its choked rivers. Despite environmental consequences, the world produces some 500 million tons of plastic a year. It's a burden across Africa, and Ghana was once ranked the 7th messiest nation. But now it's being hailed as a success story. Why? Well, some of the biggest consumer companies, including Coca-Cola, Nestle, and Unilever, have come together to create the Ghana Recycling Initiative by private enterprises, better known as GRIPE. GRIPE is a good example of the kind of organizations that are springing up all over the world in response to growing anger over plastic pollution. These private sector collaborations are made up of the same companies selling the plastic that ends up as waste, and they hit many of the same talking points wherever they are. Recycling good, plastic bans bad.
Auntie Lita, hey! I'm here to tell you that there are companies in Ghana who...
Meet Auntie Lita, GRIPE's cartoon mascot. She goes around reprimanding Ghanaians for dropping their trash and not sorting it properly. The message from these companies seems to be, it's not us, it's you. Ghana has a terrible recycling rate, as low as 0.1% for plastic, according to one estimate. You would think having access to funding from multi-billion-dollar companies would help, but some of GRIPE's flagship initiatives just aren't working. A permanent plastic collection center that GRIPE sponsored in one of the most polluted areas of Accra was abandoned after only a few months. A plan to collect plastic bottles at gas stations had stopped functioning. The problem isn't that people are untidy, it's that there's very little waste collection and few trash cans. Consumers have no easy way to dispose of the plastic they're buying. Proper waste collection and building factories that can recycle plastic is expensive, and GRIPE's members haven't contributed anywhere near enough to make a difference. They pay about $5,000 a year each. To put that number in context, Unilever's annual marketing budget is about $7.5 billion globally. When asked, GRIPE's leader said the main purpose of the organization was to persuade the Ghanaian government not to ban plastic. They were proud of their success in stopping new plastic legislation and getting the private sector to take the lead on policy. So the takeaway? What's happening in Ghana is a cautionary tale of industry-led efforts to stop pollution. Companies worldwide have sold us on the sustainability of plastics while failing to invest in recycling. And they have tried to avoid one of the simplest solutions of all: sell less plastic.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 10:15 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play app. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Riza Diaz. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.